All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Mike Kirchen. I'm the National Hero Outreach Coordinator for Homes for Heroes. Thank you for checking out our second episode of Hero Talk. Each episode of Hero Talk, I am joined by guests who share how they are making a real impact in the hero community out where they live. Today, I'm joined by Homes for Heroes real estate specialist Nicole Koch and Nineline Veteran Services President Sean Durnan and Chief Operations Officer Francis Charles. The Nineline Veteran Services is the recipient of the latest Homes for Heroes Foundation grant. You know, I want to spend some time talking to Francis and Sean, but I'm going to first talk to Nicole. Nicole, you've been an agent for over a year now with Homes for Heroes, maybe 14 months to be exact. So my first question is, how did you hear about Homes for Heroes, or why did you decide to get involved with that?
Well, I decided to get involved because last winter of 2019, so not 2020. So in October, some friends reached out to me and said that they found a military family that was almost homeless. So they were traveling here from North Carolina with four kids, uh, his wife and himself, and he signed into JBLM with $200 in his pocket. His credit card, his travel card was maxed out. There was no base housing available for them to stay in like immediately. They didn't have any money for a hotel. They barely had money for food, and he said that they were within 2 hours of like sleeping in their truck. So I pulled together some community resources. We did a fundraiser. We got them in a hotel that night. We worked with them to keep them in a hotel through the month of October until they were able to actually get into base housing. And so not only that family, but I learned from that family there were several other active duty families staying in tents, RVs, campers, pop up campers. Some were actually living in their car because we do have a housing crisis here in Washington. So military housing is not readily available when soldiers get here. Um, Housing on the market is not readily available. It's hard to get into a rental right away, and some soldiers don't know that coming here. So I started reaching out to property managers and rental companies and asking for help. Like, if anybody can help me find a place for our soldiers to rent, we have families that need a house. And that's where I met my managing broker, Rachel Pettit, and or Rachel Taylor, actually, sorry, it's with Pettit Realty. So she said, "Listen, Nicole, I have a managed property management company. I'll put together a fundraiser." She put together a fundraiser, and she was able to cover some of the deposits to get these families into rentals. And as I was talking with her, she said, "If you want to make a bigger impact, why don't you just go and get your real estate license?" And so I did. I went and got my real estate license, started a Facebook group for soldiers looking for housing because there's a need there. Like, people need to find housing when they get here, and there's that little niche isn't being covered. And so I started a Facebook group. I started looking for property managers. I started working with real estate agents. I started taking my classes. And then Rachel told me, "Listen, I have this great program called Homes for Heroes. You can do more." So it was a no brainer for me to sign on my license with Rachel here at Pettit Realty and continue on with Homes for Heroes and help families get into housing.
Nicole, that's awesome. Thank you for taking time to explain that. So now you serve heroes in the Pacific Northwest. What's it been like this year? I mean, being part of Homes for Heroes. Why don't we just talk about how you heard of Nineline Veteran Services?
So I heard of Nineline Veteran Services because I do reach out into the community, and I'm always looking for organizations that can help either active duty or veterans. Like, sometimes they need help with rental assistance. Sometimes they need food assistance. Sometimes they need just somewhere to stay. And so I'm always in the community reaching out to people. And so my best friend Russ Knorr introduced me to Tony Dayton, who is a mortgage lender, and he is part of the Nineline Veteran Services. And so this nonprofit touched my heart because they are actually housing veterans. And so that's why I nominated them.
Cool. No, that's a great story. We just gave a grant away last month to the Veteran Community Project out of Kansas City, Missouri, and they're awesome. I'm going to touch on them a little bit as we move on. But so now, Nicole, you're part of this cool grant, an awesome grant from the Homes for Heroes
Great.
Foundation, and you get to kind of present this grant check to these guys from Nineline. That's pretty awesome. It's got to make you feel pretty good.
It feels amazing. I know that this money is going to go far, and you two are going to do great things with it. And to think how God works, it's amazing to me because I'm not going to see the impact of this after this video, but I know that there's going to be a veteran out there that you're going to be able to house because of it. And I thank you guys for everything that you're doing out there to help.
Thanks. Thank you, Nicole. We're going to move into Sean. Sean, are you ready for this? So, Sean,
Yes, I am.
you are the president. Tell us about the line uh, the Nineline Veteran Services. How did it start? What is its mission, and how are you helping veterans?
So we actually were boots on ground from 2012. So I want to touch on this because, as it's been stated, everything we do is a labor of love. Um, from housing our veterans to providing them employment services to, meeting with their families and really understanding the that holistic care, if you will. Um, so 2012. Bunch of us got together and said, we have this huge population of veterans coming out. At the time, it was the post 9/11 veterans. Reduction of force was at an all-time high. You had thousands of veterans coming out of the gate at JBLM and not really a lot of answers, and the Pacific Northwest houses one of the largest military populations in the US. So we sat down, we thought about how we can get the most direct route for a lot of these service members who are facing these comorbid issues, homelessness, basic needs, childcare, supportive services, getting connected with the right person at the right time to get the right job it's a lot harder than people think when you take a population like veterans who from age 18 or on who enlisted in the service who have been told how to eat, walk, talk, breathe. As a former law enforcement officer, you understand, firsthand, it's a different culture, right? So it's finding those individuals and doing that post education, supporting them during that transition, doing the follow up to make sure that they are successful. And that was something that we ourselves as veterans, and I myself as a Iraqi combat veteran, um, had to find out the hard way. And so we came together based on our own experiences and said, let's find a way to bridge the gap. Let's find a way to make sure that no one ever has to face these issues alone. And that's really what motivated us to kick it off, and we started out with 5 of us sitting in the garage and with very limited resources, very limited idea of kind of what we wanted this thing to be. All we knew is that we really wanted to make a positive impact in our community. And, we fast forward to where we're at today and a lot of projects under our belts and a lot of motivation and a lot of question and answers. And honestly, we couldn't be happier. And that's really how we got here today. And again, everything we do is a labor of love, So from our board of directors to our employees to the homeless veterans we serve, it's just been a blessing, truly.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you for sharing that. And where do you serve? I mean, where do you mainly serve heroes in the Washington State area? And then I know I'm putting you on the spot right now, but can you think of a good or a really good success story? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I used to have people ask me all the time, "What was your scariest moment as a police officer?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't come up with that right now because there were plenty." But where do you guys normally serve veterans in the Washington State area? And can you think of a cool success story?
So Nineline as a whole is spread out throughout the entire state. We do initiatives statewide. Some initiatives we actually take process nationwide, but for us, we're primarily located in the South Sound region, so Tacoma, the Pierce County area. And so whenever someone asks me this, which no, you're not putting me on the spot, I do appreciate the question actually. We had a young lady, we host an annual Veterans Resource Fair, the largest of its kind, at the Tacoma Dome, and we serve anywhere between 20 to 30,000 veterans a year. So we had one veteran come through, and this was back when we first started. I want to say 2014, maybe 15. She was going to one of the local colleges. Her and her daughter were actually living out of their car. So the only meal they actually got during the day was when they would go into the local vet center and get a cup of noodles and some juices and coffees and things like that. And when she approached us, it was, what can I do to help others? Even though her herself didn't have much.
Oh,
So we connected with her. We identified how we could get that, childcare, the basic needs covered, get them into some affordable housing. And I remember we were working with Catholic Community Services at the time, and we actually got them housed. And I just remember this feeling, just being lifted off our shoulders, and the look on her face. And every year she comes back to volunteer, and every year her little girl just tells us thank you. And
Hmm.
it's possibly one of the most heartwarming experiences of my life. And that's why we continue to do what we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that would be the biggest one for me.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Thanks for sharing it. So Francis, given the challenges today, I mean, for the full year now, we're on a year mark here that COVID hit us, and fundraising and the COVID, the pandemic. And Francis, what obstacles or what hurdles are you seeing as far as getting donations and people just supporting and helping you as an
Oh
organization?
man, we have just crossed that 1 year anniversary of dealing with the pandemic, lockdown. And in that year, I would say that we have had to shift left and right from our original course, right?
Yeah,
It posed a major hurdle to how we operate. As Sean said, we are a labor of love. Everything we do is really a labor of love, which translates into using the passion and commitment of our volunteer community to help our veterans. We don't have paid staff. It is 100% volunteer effort. So when we think about it as a labor of love, it is really, we see ourselves as facilitating the connection between the community and the veteran need, right?
yeah,
So when the pandemic hit, a lot of our events, a lot of our opportunities were restricted. Sean alluded to the Veterans Resource Fair that we held annually at the Tacoma Dome. Well, last year we had to cancel that. At first, we postponed it because we didn't know how long restrictions would last. And then, as information grew, as our understanding of the impact grew, we did have to cancel last year's event. What we believe is the impact of that is that the increasing homeless population within Pierce, King, and Snohomish counties within Washington state probably went a little more unserved. We've seen the growth of the homeless population. We've seen the growth or the increase in disparity between those that have and those that have not. When we see this, K-shaped recovery, the ones that have not are dealing with less resources to help themselves and to kind of stand themselves up. And so we in Nineline really believe that we have an increased opportunity to help those that wish to improve their lifestyles, ones that wish to satisfy their basic needs. So what we had to do was partner with, for example, the Washington State Attorney General's office to take over operations of a previous nonprofit, and that's where we moved into employment. So we now employ veterans. We also are property managers, I guess, to a certain extent. And we work with Catholic Christian Community Service to get people and veterans who are suffering from homelessness. We get them shelter. We try to do that very quickly, meaning within 24 to 48 hours. And an exciting piece is last year, I believe it was November, just before the holiday season really took off, where we probably saw the greatest needs within the homeless community, especially as the weather got colder, the nights got longer. Nineline, through the acquisition of the business operations in Fife that we had moved to Fife, was able to employ and house 2 veterans who were sleeping in their vehicles, right, for weeks on end. And that all happened within 24 hours of being notified. So what we are seeing now is, instead of being able to host the Veterans Resource Fair and serve hundreds to thousands of veterans in a walkthrough, as they walk through our lines, and receive emergency care services, as well as, uplifting services, whether or not it's housing, shelter, medical, dental, faith-based services, community-based services, financial planning services, real estate planning services, through the Veterans Resource Fair. We had to become a little bit more tactical and look at where can we really have the kind of focused and really precision impact. And we saw that in the homeless community. So we indexed on that. We figured that there was a way to help those that were without. So we did not want to see the existing business go under. So we took control of that business, turned the operations from a loss to a profit center. I think we're getting there. We're getting there. And thanks to our early angel investors, we're able to float this long. So thanks to them too. But really, our long-term vision has not changed. So I would say that this pandemic, we'll look at this as a blip in the rearview mirror, hopefully. And with this grant, with this gift, we definitely see ourselves as accelerating our efforts towards accomplishing that vision, which is, and Sean and I joke about this offline a lot. Hopefully, Nineline will be able to serve as many veterans as possible where Nineline is no longer needed. That's
awesome. That's awesome. Francis,
amazing.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for telling all that. I was staring at their webpage, the Nineline webpage, and the first thing that jumps out at you is service above self. And we find that as an organization, Homes for Heroes, we reach out to a lot of different hero organizations, and they kind of have that same motto and that same mission, service above self. That's great. So Francis, one more question, if I can put you on the spot.
Sure.
For anyone that wants to help support, help fund Nineline, what's the best way? Where can they go? A web page, a Facebook page, Instagram? Yeah.
So you can hit us on our website, first of all.
Yep.
We're also on Facebook. If you're on our webpage, it would be nineline.org. There's a number 9 in there.
Yep.
So it's NINE number 9 LINE.org. On there's a givings page, a donations page. You can read a lot about our mission there. And really, just to highlight it, our mission is to ensure that veterans have a home and that veterans have a community around them, and that they know that there is support out there. Those that have risked their lives for us, we're willing to risk our comfort for them. So
that's awesome.
That's where that passion comes from. And our mission is, again, homelessness, employment, and community.
And that's why just last month, guys, I told you I was going to bring up the Veterans Community Project again, and they're housed out of Kansas City, Missouri, and they're starting to build more homes now in St. Louis. Have you guys heard of it?
We have, and goodness, I don't want to have any spoiler alerts, but I feel like you're pulling it out of us.
I had no idea. I just brought it up because I like to connect resources when I can. And if I can connect the tiny homes that are being built with what's going on in the Washington State area, Francis, do you have anything else to tell us?
We may. We'll probably have to come back to that at another date.
Okay.
We'd love to have that conversation then.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, because I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of them, because we just had a great conversation with them last week, and they're doing phenomenal things, and you guys are doing phenomenal things, and it's heartwarming. So it's like super cool. So now, Nicole, now we're back to you. All right.
Yes,
remember
sir.
How you and I rehearsed? You're going to show some sort of a check or something, right?
Are you guys ready?
My goodness, never.
Never. It's a big.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, guys, just to tell you a quick story, I did a project up in Minneapolis when I was still an officer up there called Bike Cops for Kids. Mike Rowe came to town one day and spent a day biking with me, and he highlighted my project on returning the favor. At the end of the day, he surprised me with 200 brand new kids' bikes and a big check like that for $25,000. So don't try to take that check into the bank. to deposit it because they're going to send you out. Because I tried it with the micro check and it didn't work.
Lessons
So,
learned. I appreciate the wisdom.
Thank you, Nicole. So,
Nicole, thank you.
Homes for Heroes and the Homes for Heroes Foundation is honored to be able to support the Nineline Veteran Services mission and all that it does for the nation's veterans throughout the grant. Thank you for all you do, and thank you, Nicole, for bringing Nineline Services to our attention. It's extraordinary commitments and affiliates such as yourself that complete the Homes for Heroes circle of giving. If you want to learn more about how you can save money on a home through the Homes for Heroes network, visit homesforheroes.com. And if you'd like to learn more about the Homes for Heroes Foundation, visit homesforheroesfoundation.org. Thank you, Sean and Francis, for joining us today. Really, I thank you, and thank you for your service. Thank you for your service overseas, Sean. And Nicole, thank you for joining us. Thank you for nominating this phenomenal group.
Yes.
And we would love to hear down the road, whatever you guys have, in the hopper with the Veterans Community Project out of St. Louis and Kansas City. We would love to hear about it, even if it's just through an email. That'd be great.
Right.
So just watch for more Homes for Heroes social channels. Follow us on the different social channels, and you'll get to see great videos like this. So, guys, that's it. It kind of wraps things up, and I just have to say thank you very much.
Thank you again. I truly,
Yeah.
this
Thank you.
is
Cool.
going to go so far.
so
You
much.
have no idea. I'll leave it there. I promise I leave it there. I can't spoil things. Sean keeps me in line when it comes to that because he knows how aggressive I am.
And now I'm going to be thinking, what do those guys have going on? So now I'm going to be thinking, what is going on? So you guys can tell me about it later. That's fine.
We will. We definitely will.
All right. So that's it. So I think we're all done. I think Seth will probably edit this part out. But guys, yeah, thanks a lot. And I'll stay in touch with you guys.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank
you,
you,
Francis.
Thank you again. Thank you again for pulling this together.
Thank you both.
You bet. All right. See you guys.
All right.
All right. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Yeah.
Good day.